Hi, thank you for joining me today for another palmistry lesson. Today we're talking about bent or curved fingers. Now, it might be something that you wouldn't even consider when doing a palm reading for someone, but it's actually quite important because it shows how a person has developed in their character as they are maturing. Oftentimes, once the finger is bent, it will never straighten, so it does show very innate characteristics. So I'm going to talk about the difference between leaning and bent fingers. So there are slight differences there, and I'll just bring you up a couple of pictures and we'll talk about those. So firstly, one of the main fingers that is curved is the index finger or the Jupiter finger. And the direction that it usually bends is towards the middle finger. Now, if it leans away from the middle finger, it's usually not a bend, it's usually like a lean. And when a finger leans away, it's just showing a more extroverted personality. So if the index finger leans away from the middle finger, it's someone who's very independent. They like to be in the center of attention, so very social and outgoing and lively, almost in an eccentric way. So they would be ambitious and with, like I said, high level of independence. However, the more common curve in the index finger is towards the middle finger. So that is trying to get energy from Saturn, which is the middle finger. So Jupiter is leaning towards Saturn, so it wants security from the responsibility of Saturn. So that suggests somebody more shy and introverted. They may have a need for that security and dependence on family. So they may be someone who doesn't have great career goals or has not had the opportunity to get more independent. So they have been relying on other people a lot for that security. Sometimes it could be literally from their family or from their partner even. What it does also bring is quite a possessive and jealous nature, I've noticed. A lot of people who have the curved finger may be a little bit stubborn and unwilling to change. But the positive part of that bent index finger is that they have very dutiful and serious outlook on life. So because they are getting the energy from Saturn, their personality is quite serious and they do their duty. If they have a duty, they make sure it gets done. So that's a very positive quality there. Now, with the thumb itself, if the thumb leans away from itself, leans away from the fingers, so it leans backwards, like held quite open and leans backwards away. This picture is slightly leaning backwards. Have I got a pen here? So you can see it's slightly leaning backwards. It's not tucked in. I'll see if I can get another picture. I think I've got another one here. Yeah, there we go. So if the thumb is held close, like here, sort of tucked in, that is a very modest and cautious and introverted personality. They may be selfish, bound by habits, and a little bit unadventurous in their spirit. They can be intelligent, but it shows someone quite miserly. So in the opposite direction, when it leans away from the fingers, that suggests a more social and generous person. They have more extrovert qualities in their manner of expression. So basically, leaning inwards is the introverted, quiet type. Leaning outwards is the more outgoing type. If the thumb happens to actually be kinked in, can you see, if they hold it in tightly like this, that means they are on the inside, they're quite angry or upset or very frustrated. It shows that they are not being open either to themselves or to others. That it shows that they are just not letting go. They're being tight with their emotions. They're being tight with their feelings. So they may even be suffering from some kind of depression. Obviously, depends on other markings. So moving on to the next finger, we have got the middle finger, and that is another common finger to be bent. The one that's least likely to be bent usually is the ring finger. But the middle finger, if it leans towards the thumb, it's rarely bent towards the thumb. But if it leans over towards the thumb, that is showing that more of that extroverted quality again. So that is an outgoing, ambitious person. It loves the company of other people. So if their fingers literally lean towards the thumb, so they love people. If it leans away, actually bends towards the ring finger, that shows a history of uncertainty. The security for that person has not been what they like. So there may be uncertainty, there may be some depression, some reserved emotions, someone who likes to be alone. They don't really enjoy the company of others. Like if it leans towards the thumb, like I said, social, outgoing. Away from it, bent, they probably love those times when they are alone. And once again, same as with the index finger, they're very dutiful. They tend to do their duty before their creative endeavors. It's leaning towards the ring finger, which is a creative finger. So it's leaning towards that. So they are wanting to be creative, but maybe they haven't been able to create what they wanted. Okay, next we have the ring finger. So once again, if the Apollo or ring finger leans towards the thumb, that is again showing more extroverted. So, but because it is, if it's leaning towards the thumb, it's actually leaning to Saturn. So it's getting its energy from that serious middle finger. So that shows maybe a history of a clash again between responsibility and that creative expression. So similar to the middle finger leaning towards the ring finger. So they have a need for security. They may have family obligations where they have not been able to do what they want to do, and they've had to lean on somebody for security, maybe to keep their creative career going. Someone has had to support them, as an example. Leaning away, it rarely leans away from the middle finger. But if so, that shows an unusual taste in art or music. They have a different personality. They're a little bit eccentric, probably. The same goes for the last one is the little pinky, the Mercury finger. That is, again, often seen either jutting out. If it juts out away from the thumb, that shows more eccentric person again. One who's not interested in what everybody else is doing and leaning away from all the other fingers. So it's leaning away from what everyone's doing. They do their own thing, which can be good. That's a very determined and independent and assertive person. If it bends towards the ring finger, that is a history of some kind of emotional concern. As far as personality of the bent pinky, many people say if your pinky is bent, you're a liar. That's the sign of a liar. It's not exactly. What it does mean is that the person is sharp and diplomatic, and they can express things. They're charming and perceptive. So someone who's charming, perceptive, diplomatic with a sharp mind, they know how to bend the truth. So they can lie well if they do lie, but it doesn't make them a liar, so to speak. So there you go. That was quite a mouthful. I hope you were taking notes. Anyway, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I'll welcome all sorts of feedback. And please visit destinypalmistry.com. I'd love to see you there and look forward to doing another video soon. See you later. Bye.